In today's story, we'll learn about doctors who fly. The Australian Royal Flying Doctor Service was started in 1928 to help people who live far away from cities and towns. Many people who live in the Australian outback can't get to a hospital when they're sick, so the doctors often fly to them. Let's find out more by watching today's story on the Royal Flying Doctor Service.
You can get in touch with the flying doctor any time of the day and night with the emergency button, and they're very good.
Maud Forshaw and her husband Elton raised 7 kids here at Yeldham Station, and despite their isolation, especially during the wet season, when roads to the outside world might be cut for weeks, they've always appreciated their top-flight medical cover.
Well, to be honest with you, we have a doctor quicker than you get it if you're in Mount Isa or in any of the cities. We can get on and we've got a doctor within 5 minutes talking to us, telling us what to do, and because you don't see a doctor, but at least they're there and they tell you. And we've got the medical chest with all the stuff in it that's in it, and they give you medicals out of the medical chest, so you're able to handle things. And so we get attention within about 15 minutes. They're taking the medication, and that's a lot quicker than you get in most hospitals.
For families like the Forshaws, HF radios were the lifeline to the outside world and the first contact point between flying doctor and patient in an emergency.
They've got to calm people down, and they do that a lot just by talking to them.
It's a very different way of doing medicine, I guess. It's something that most people when they come, most doctors when they come here are not used to. And I think there's a bit of a rapid learning curve to become familiar with it.
They're pretty good. They just seem to be able to do it, that's all. Yeah. They ask you a lot of questions and you answer their questions, and 9 times out of 10 they can tell you what's wrong.
I guess there's a degree of educated guessing in it, but the majority of the time you get familiar with the people, you've met them before, and you get a pretty good idea from the stories you're given what's wrong with them.
It's interesting when people, if I tell someone that I'm a nurse, they go, oh yeah, you're a nurse. And then you say, I'm a nurse and I work for the RFDS, and immediately everybody's interested, but I'm still doing the same job. I just am doing it in a plane. I like the variety, the fact that you're working in rural areas, meeting rural people. I like flying. My father had his pilot's licence, and so I used to fly in small aircraft as a child. Just the whole bit, really. And the fact that you can use all your skills in the one place.
Right-hand circuit breakers checked. Preliminary checks complete. Pre-start checks next.
Being a pilot for the Royal Flying Doctor Service is different to a lot of aviation jobs. It's not everyone's cup of tea. There's a lot of hard work involved with it. But I don't think that there is a job in aviation that will give you the rewards this will. This job is one of those jobs where you have to think on your feet. You're given a lot of responsibility, and because of that you get great rewards at the end of the day. And it's nice to be in a job where you make a difference.
The people out here really appreciate your efforts. They're very thankful for what you do. They make you feel part of the community, and they make you, you are their friend. You're not their doctor, you're their friend, and I think that's a very good thing, and I get a lot of satisfaction out of my job because I'm working with people I know very well. I grow old with them as they grow old, and I see them through their ups and downs, and they see me through my ups and downs, and it's like a long-term friendship.
Okay, so the story today was about the Royal Flying Doctor Service, or RFDS. This branch of the RFDS is based in Mount Isa in Queensland. They have branches all over Australia. For example, in Queensland, they have bases in Mount Isa, Cairns, Townsville, Rockhampton, Brisbane, Bundaberg and Charleville. So, in the story, we saw old vision of a family who lived on a station in Queensland. Then we saw an interview with them today. They live in a very remote part of Queensland. It would take them days to drive to a place where there's a doctor. They've been relying on the Royal Flying Doctor Service for many years. The doctors fly there in an emergency, but they also give them advice over the phone.
You can get in touch with the flying doctor any time of the day and night with the emergency button, and they're very good.
Maud says you can get in touch with the flying doc any time of the day and night. To get in touch with means to contact. You can ring or talk to a doctor any time. She calls it the flying doc. Doc is a common shortening of doctor. So they ring and they can talk to a doctor straight away. They have a medical chest, a container with lots of things they might need in an emergency. The doctor tells them what to do and what medicine to take.
So you're able to handle things, and so we get attention within about 15 minutes. They're taking the medication, and that's a lot quicker than you get in most hospitals.
She says you're able to handle things. To handle things means to cope with things, to know what to do to help the sick person. They get attention within about 15 minutes and they can be taking medication. That's quicker than if you lived in a city and had to go to a hospital. If the person is very sick, the doctor will fly there. What's life like for the people who work for the RFDS?
It's interesting when people, if I tell someone that I'm a nurse, they go, oh yeah, you're a nurse. And then you say, I'm a nurse and I work for the RFDS, and immediately everybody's interested, but I'm still doing the same job. I just am doing it in a plane.
Nick is a nurse. She says it's interesting because when she tells people she works for the RFDS, everybody's interested. Interesting, interested. They're both adjectives, but what's the difference between them? Well, ing adjectives describe how something is, and ed adjectives describe how someone feels. Something is interesting, but a person feels interested. So we could say that Nick is interesting. That means other people will like listening to her because she's of interest. But we could say that Nick is interested. That means she feels interested in something else. There are many adjectives that take these two forms. He is bored, he is boring, running is tiring, the runner is tired. And you can find out more about these adjective forms on our website. Okay, so working for the RFDS is interesting. Lots of people are interested in it. Let's listen to a flying doctor talk about why he loves his job.
The people out here really appreciate your efforts. They're very thankful for what you do. They make you feel part of the community, and they make you, you are their friend.
The people appreciate or are very thankful for his efforts. He says he feels part of the community and more like a friend than a doctor. So it certainly is an excellent service to rural communities. And that's all for today. If you're confused by those ed and ing adjectives, just go to our website.